Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another video regarding the horror genre of gaming, possibly even the asymmetrical genre of gaming, guys. We have a lot to talk about today. So, as most of you guys know, the news has already been out there regarding Illfonic and Gun are back together working on a video game. This was revealed by Kane Hodder himself in an interview. However, that's about as far as the news goes regarding that. We don't know what type of game it's going to be. We don't know what IP, if it's going to be even a licensed IP, what that's going to be. None of that information like that, but a lot of news has been circulating, guys, regarding Boss Team Games, of course, the publishers of Evil Dead the Game. That's how they kind of became famous within the horror community. Not long after that, the publishers of Retro Realms, the game, including, Halloween, and Ash vs. Evil Dead. Now, over the course of the past few days, we've gotten some interesting news. I mean, some might even consider them bombshell news coming in regarding what this game is going to be, what's going on with Boss Team Games. So for starters, let's talk about Boss Team Games here for a second. So it was revealed not long ago that Halloween was going to be getting 2 games. And of course, if you're a Halloween fan, that's big news because we don't see a lot of games coming out of that franchise. And one we have already gotten, which was Retro Realms. We got that game. It was 2D. Even though it was 2D, it was awesome to see Michael Myers in a game again. And again, that was published by Boss Team Games. But it was also revealed that there was another game in the works. John Carpenter, of course, working alongside Boss Team Games on Unreal Engine 5, bringing us a brand new Halloween game. Now, as far as the genre or anything like that goes, we don't know, but we do know we were going to get a quality Halloween game. Now, just for starters, guys, the first thing I want to bring up is, I had a fun conversation on X, some of you may know as Twitter, a few days ago. Well, Twitter does have an AI app. It's called Grok, and it's actually pretty damn good for, finding information and stuff like that. That's why I use it. If I'm interested in something, trying to find things out, Grok will go and fish out links for stuff that, otherwise may be hidden that other people may not have seen. So, a few days ago, before all of this news broke, before we knew anything, just for fun, I had a discussion with Grok, and what Grok thought maybe the next game would be from Gun in Illfonic. So what I said, quoting, just for fun, I was asking Grok about the reveal of Gun in Illfonic's next game. For clarification, before this question, the conversation was brief. I only mentioned their previous titles, Kane's involvement, and the fact that they're working on a new game. I mentioned nothing about Halloween, Myers, etc., nor did Grok mention anything about Halloween till this question. And just for clarification, guys, before this question came in, I asked Grok specifically, Gun in Illfonic, are they working on a new game? I already knew they were, but I wanted to see if I could get some links out of Grok. And Grok did confirm they are. It gave me a few links from, a few reputable sources, letting me know that Gun and Illfonic were indeed working on a game. And just before we get into the next part, guys, I do want to shout out WeezyF Mamba. He did mention this in his video, too. He thought it was funny as well. Good friend of mine, guys. Obviously, I met him back in Evil Dead the Game. We've been playing that game a long time together. And, of course, TCM, he's covered extensively, doing a lot of good for the horror community. He deep dives into games, figures out, builds and all that cool stuff. So, big shout out to him. A big staple in the horror asymmetrical community, but he mentioned this first, and I thought it'd be a good idea to bring it up too. But my next question to Grok, right after I asked them about Illfonic and Gun, I said, Grok, let's say the game's based on a licensed horror IP. If I were to ask you, based on everything that Kane, Gun, and Illfonic have worked on in the past, what would you say the game will be, hypothetically? There's no right or wrong answers here. I'm just looking for a direct answer, and the first thing that comes to your mind based on this information. Just give me a name of the game and franchise. I just wanted a word. That's all I wanted was the game. And it said Halloween. And I thought this was really weird, really odd that, I mentioned nothing about this whatsoever. Nothing about Halloween, Michael Myers, Laurie Strode, nothing from the movies whatsoever. I figured, being an AI, Grok would say something like F-13 Part 2 or something else that Illfonic and Gun has worked on in the past. Maybe something to do with even Texas. It's an AI. Maybe something original. Nothing, I never expected to see Halloween. So I thought it was interesting. I thought it was funny. Again, take it with a grain of salt, guys. It's just AI. It could be absolutely meaningless whatsoever. I just thought it was really weird because a few days later, or actually probably the next day, Slasher Radio, which you guys have to check out on YouTube. This is who broke the news. Again, lots of great horror content. this creator does as well. He did mention from his sources, now I'm not going to speak everything verbatim, because if you want to see his video, just go check out his video. But he does say he has reputable sources that told him that Boss Team Games, the original publisher of this new Halloween game, is off the project. They're done. They're off the project. Of course, we know Boss Team Games has been downsizing as of recently, and things like that. So, possibility they lost the Halloween license. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. Quite frankly, I really don't care. But the fact is that his source tells him they lost the license. And also that Illfonic was working with Boss Team Games on this new Halloween game. So apparently Illfonic was already on this project, no matter if it was them and Gun, them and Boss Team Games, whatever. But it's apparent that Gun Interactive has taken over the publishing rights to Halloween from Boss Team Games. And of course, as a lot of you guys may know, if you know the backstory of Gun, this is one project they've always wanted to work on, was Halloween, so it really makes a lot of sense and it all adds up. So big shout out here, guys, to Slasher Radio. If you guys have not heard of this channel, definitely go check him out. He has all the cool news. And if this is true, which I'm not doubting it is true, this is some bombshell news, man. This is bombshell news, especially if you're a Halloween fan. You know, a lot of folks are hoping for another Friday the 13th revival, of course, but I think this is the next best, biggest bombshell we could see, especially if it's asymmetrical. You know, there's no guarantee there. We might all be fooled. It might not be asymmetrical, but given Illfonic's track record and Gun's track record, this is basically all they do. You know, setting Arcadegeddon for Illfonic aside for a second, this is basically all they do is horror asymmetrical games. So I would be very, very surprised if they're working on a Halloween game that it would not be asymmetrical. But who's to say? And again, who's to say? You know, we could all be completely wrong about this. Maybe it's not Halloween. We're all going to be fooled, and none of this is going to matter. Who knows exactly? But I'm thinking it's going to be the latter. Honestly, guys, I'm leaning toward Halloween. Now, a few things about me, guys. Ever since the Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out on August 18th, 2023, I said that this will be my last horror asymmetrical game. And ever since, I've been holding true to my word. I've only been playing asymmetrical games that I have played in the past. I've not picked any new ones up. Nothing like that since Texas. I'm still kind of, you know, shattered because Texas is getting shut down and all that stuff. But considering that Halloween is my all-time favorite horror franchise, and possibly we're getting a new game with Halloween, there's obviously no doubt I'm going to be checking it out if that's the case. But, you know, I hate to say this is just speculation anymore, guys, given the news that we've seen here. And again, big shout out to WeezyF Mamba for covering the news. You know, my Grok question there. Also Slasher Radio, Slash and Cast even, because they broke the news as well for coming in from Slasher Radio. Check all those guys out. You guys know all those guys. Great horror creators. But this is big for all of us, man, because, you know, this is what I do too. It's, you know, I play pretty much nothing but Illfonic and Gun games on my channel. You guys know that if you come check out my videos. It's all we do is horror asymmetrical games from those guys. So it'll fall right into place for me. And I'm really excited about it, man. So we'll see what happens here in the future. Maybe we'll get some news breaking here. I would not expect anytime soon. Maybe the Game Awards this year, because this is where Gun broke the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, was at the Game Awards. So I'm expecting maybe something by then, hopefully. But we do know one thing's for sure. Gun and Illfonic are working on another game. And could it be Halloween? Let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comments below, guys. This is an exciting time to be a horror fan right now. Whatever it is, the speculation's awesome. But yeah, with that said, guys, appreciate you watching the video, man. Stay tuned, I guess, and we'll see what happens here in the future, and we'll be right here on the channel. So have a good one, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel for all the latest horror news. We'll see you on the next one.